Radio Bypass, bringing you rock and roll music that deserves to be heard. Discover new bands. Here's some old favorites on Radio Bypass.
Hey everybody, we are so thrilled today to be being joined by one of our best guys that we know, Robin McAuley, who's got a brand new record on the way, February 28th. We're going to see a record called Soulbound coming out from Mr. McAuley. And we are here to talk with Robin all about the latest solo release.
Hello, Radio Bypass. Hello, Ralph. Thank you so much for having me back, and Happy New Year, everybody. It's good to be back. Hello.
Hello. Yes, Happy New Year, Robin. And it's going to be a great year for music fans and for Robin McAuley fans. I'm excited about 2025 just because of Soulbound, but for many other things too. I'm sure it's going to be a great year. But I'm so excited. Last time you were here, you had just released Alive, which was your second solo record.
Right.
And when you did the first, you weren't even positive if you were going to be doing a second. And you did. And now we're getting ready for record number 3 2 years later. So tell us about it. How did Soulbound come along, and how excited are you? Are you as excited as I am?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I really was excited when Alive came out. I loved the record. We had a great deal of fun with the songwriting part of it. And, it comes out and it does what it does. And then there's silence. And then suddenly somebody goes, "Oh, we're ready to make number 3." And I go, "Oh, we are?" And then there's a timeline and nobody's able to meet the timeline because I'm out somewhere and they're out somewhere. So Soulbound kicked off early, sort of maybe the middle of last year, 24. Songs started coming in. I did the same thing. I was working with Alessandro Del Vecchio as I did on Alive and Standing on the Edge. And we got to the point where we selected, out of a bucket of songs, we selected the 11 that I felt comfortable going with. And then Ali left the label. And so that threw a spanner into the works, and I'm going, now what happens? And then there was like a break. And then I was introduced to Aldo Lenobile, who's the new guy at the helm at Frontiers, and he's the in-house guy. Great guitar player, great producer. I was only familiar with Aldo working on the Queensryche stuff for the label. We chatted, we switched out a few songs because he came in and he wanted to bring a bit of him in. Soulbound was one of those. I actually didn't write Soulbound. It's written by 2 Swedish writers. Those damn Swedes, man, they always so good, So Teresa Persson and Jan Ackerson were the writers on it. I got the demo. I went, maybe it's a little too pretty, something. I went, can I demo this and, see what I do with it? I did. I sent it back to Aldo and he goes, "Wow, this is great. You want to do it?" And I went, I would love to do it. And I really liked the title of the song. I think I might use that as the album title. And he goes, "Well, we're not there yet, but whatever." So we did that. And then the song's coming in, and I was ready to record, and I used my same engineer as I did for the last 2 records. Andy Zuckerman lives pretty close to me, and it's kind of funny because when I go to Andy to record, I'll book the time, and he gets the stems in, and he's all set up, and he has no idea what it is that I'm going to do. And I come in, I pick the mics, we do all of that sort of stuff, and he doesn't even get a demo. So he basically
flying blind.
He basically he goes, "Where's the verse?" So I have to sing out the track so we can mark it up. So I go the verse, and if there's a pre-chorus and a chorus, and he goes, "Okay, now I can map out the song. I know where we are." Right. And it never changes, but we seem to make it work. And that's a blast working with Andy. And of course, the guys are in Naples, they're in Italy or Milan, as sometimes the case is. And I wanted my guitar player that's on all 3 records now, Andrea Cerveso. I wanted him more up front and center because I really like what he does. I like his tone. I like his playing. He's just a great guitar player. And I remember on Standing on the Edge on the live, so many comments about Andrea was that he sounded he's got that sort of George Lynch thing going on sometimes. And that would make me laugh because that never occurred to me at all, that he was sort of George-ish. And then I suppose more that I listened, I went, maybe a little bit there. And he laughs about it because he goes, no, that's I'm not even in my thought process. This is just how I play. So
Right.
I wanted him to be much more guitar driven on this. Aldo felt the same because he's a guitar player. And then there's another guitar player that's actually on the lead break on Soulbound, Alessandro Mamola out of Milan, and great guitar player, great solo. And so I'm surrounded by guys on guitar that are just really, really good. And I have a thing that while the world at large may not know who all these people are, I, in my own small way, I want them to be known because they're really good. They're really, really good. And if that happens to be on of course, they do lots of other stuff too, but anything that I can do on my solo stuff to talk about them, I do because they deserve it. They're really, really good. So it came together. We picked 11 songs and now you've got it, and here we are. Till I Die was we shot a video for it. I went all cowboy up on that. I was channeling my Motorhead Ace of Spades look for the video, and people go, I knew there was something. And then Soulbound came out a couple of days ago as
Right.
the title track, and I think by the 28th of February we might drop another two. I think just to give it one last kick before the release date.
Excellent. Excellent. So Till I Die and Soulbound are the two that have come out. Potentially two more between now and the end of February. Um, and then, like you said, there's 11 tracks, except for the lucky Japanese. You guys that listen to them,
They get the bonus. And let me
the
tell you,
bonus
listen,
track.
Japanese, I don't even get the bonus.
What
You
the
know,
heck?
I know, right? I mean, I haven't even heard the bonus yet, so I'm still waiting.
Well, at least you got to hear your part of it.
I get my part, yes.
But tell us a little bit more about the song. So I know you had thought that this was a little bit harder, more guitar edge to it than the previous um,
Yeah,
few records. So what can we expect with the rest of this material? Because Till I Die, definitely hard rocking, soulbound, a little bit softer.
yeah.
Is that kind of the whole
Yeah, and
point of the record?
that's about as far as it goes. The rest is pretty much pretty rock and roll, pretty hard guitar driven. There's a slower track, kind of mid tempo, called Crazy, stuck in the middle of it, but the rest is pretty guitar driven. Heavy on the drums, heavy on the bottom end, and that was intentional. There's no point in doing more of the same like the first two.
Mhm.
Less keyboards. The Soulbound is a little more sort of symphonic-ish, um, very melodic, and they're all very melodic, but they're just got a much more of an edge to it, which was intentional. And yeah, I think it's a good, well balanced record for the third one. Will there be a fourth? I don't know. Let's do this first. Yeah, will I make it to four? Oh my God.
I'm going to guess we're going to see number four.
No, I don't know.
You got more songwriting in you because you mentioned that Southbound was not written by you, but I assume the remaining tracks you were at least a
Yeah,
lyricist.
everything on the record, co-written by myself, Andrea, this time, Silvestro, Alessandro, Aldo was in there, I think, somewhere along the line, but mostly the same writing team, and then we added Teresa and Jan from Sweden on Soulbound. But the team is pretty much kind of similar. Um, there is one other writer that we worked with on Wonder of the World and on Bloody Bruised and Beautiful because that came in, and he started working with George Lynch. Um, so So he's included Giancarlo for Florida, and he's an LA guy actually. And I've worked with Giancarlo on a lot of my videos for the solo stuff, and he plays guitar and he writes, and then he started sending songs into Frontiers, and now he's on Michael Sweet's record. I think he's on Tracy Gunn's record. I think he was on definitely on the George Lynch records, and we knocked out 2 songs together on Soulbound. So he's an added writer on this one too.
Nice.
Giancarlo Florida.
Let's see. Do I have his name here? Let me see.
It's probably in the credits, maybe there somewhere in the songwriting credits. If it's not, he'd be bitching.
Yeah, I'm sure it's somewhere. I just don't think it's in the information I have, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
maybe not, but it'll be in the credits on the liner notes for sure.
Yeah, I do have Aldo here
I signed off on it, so I know he's on there.
No, that's awesome. And I love that you've got some new people to introduce us to here too, because I'm not familiar with some of these folks' work either. So
Yeah,
I'm glad to learn about them too. I always like learning about talented musicians for sure.
good. Again, I like the fact that there's unknowns who are really really good, and it's only right that their name is mentioned and people go, oh, I heard that name before, and I think it's good. I think it's really good. And again, if it's only on my meager platform, okay, it's a start. So I'm happy with it.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure they feel blessed to working with the
Well, I don't know, but they're in now anyway. They can't get out.
So what else could you tell us about the record? I guess one question I have, because obviously I haven't gotten to hear the whole record yet,
Right.
but you always have some pretty good lyrical phrases, and I like the words that you write. So I'm a little bit curious if you could tell us a little bit what your thought process was, and what Wonders of the World is going to bring us.
So Wonder of the World was one that Giancarlo had sent me. He had demoed it. And of course, he's going, dude, just don't listen to my voice on the demos. And I'm going, of course I will. So he had sent it. He had sent me that with Bloody Bruised and Beautiful, and I got to work, and I had to tell him this. I didn't like the demo. I liked the music, and I didn't like the melody. It just wasn't me, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
It's not something that I would sing or suited me, but I did like the music. And I got back to him and I said, dude, can I just, jump in here, not to take the song out of your pocket, but I like the music. I think it can be better.
Mhm.
And so I sat with it and I came up with a completely different melody and a different lyric. I sent it back to him and he goes, well, of course it's better. And it wasn't meant to be like that, but he was much more excited when I told him, and I said, just so you know, the label have decided to pick this as one of the next singles. And he goes, are you shitting me? So then he was extremely excited. And I said, yeah, and I can tell you that certain stations already have picked up on it, and it will be highlighted. And he was super excited. So the music is what I hear in the chord structure is what usually gives me the ideas for the melody, obviously. But
Mhm.
there's always something in there, same as when I do with Black Swan or even with Schenker. There's something that they're playing that tells me what the song should be about. I I don't have a book of words. I don't have a book of lyrics. I don't have a little guy sitting in the corner going, hey, he'll be singing this melody. It's just I listen to the music a lot before I even attempt to find a melody, because sometimes I get so frustrated and I'm going, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here.
Right.
And then it happens, and a lot of it happens when I'm asleep because the track is now embedded,
Right.
and you have to kind of own it. And once you own it, then you're much more familiar with which door to walk through. And it's just it's not what kind of a song is it? You know, when I see the seven wonders of the world, all I see is you. You are a wonder to behold, and I believe in you. So it's a very positive, uplifting, trying to pick the good things out in life. That's really what it is, and without getting all sort of bent out of shape. It's
Right.
it's 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 a song about sort of been fortunate to be able to do what I do, love what I do, um, and every day is a new wonder, and grateful for it, and that's really all that it's about, you know.
Nice.
And that's it, you know. It's nothing like, oh, dude, that's kind of deep. It's just it's positive. It's positive.
As your lyrics typically
Positive and it's like thankful and grateful, if that makes any sense, really, you know.
does. But something struck me as you were talking about this. So you don't have like a bunch of notebooks with unused lyrics that didn't fit anything you
Oh
may have
God, I wish I
at
did.
the time.
I wish I did.
I'm so
Um,
surprised, with all the songs you've been part of writing over the years.
yeah.
I would assume that there's a got to be instances where you wrote something, go to work with the piece of music and decide, nah, this isn't right for this, and it just sits piled up somewhere. Real.
Sometimes something will come to me on my phone. I'll jot it down, and if I stumble across it, I'm going, I have no idea why I wrote that or what I could even use that for. Sometimes I'll write a title. If I think a title is good, I'll save titles. That's something that I do. Um, But the truth of the matter is, when I start a new record, it's exactly what it is. I start from scratch. I have no leftovers. I wish I did. I don't have a book of wisdom somewhere. Um, I don't have anything to tap into. And that's kind of can be good, bad, and it can be frustrating. But at the same time, I know that when I start, it's fresh. Of course, there's instances where you go, I think you used that before. Well, you know, it's like trip myself up and I go, shoot, did I use that before in some other song? Because if you write so many, sooner or later, it's like, you know, tell me how many chords haven't been, you know, used in a million other songs. They go, dude, that's the chord you used right there, dude. I know that chord.
Right,
And
right.
that has to happen because there's only so many words in the dictionary,
Exactly.
you
Although
know.
it does grow a little bit every year with all
They
this.
do, right? We keep adding, we keep adding. So there is that part of it. But no, I don't usually have anything left over. It's kind of a fresh start. And I like stories. You know, if
Mhm.
I get a title, I think, well, what does that actually mean? Does it mean I don't always want to do the obvious? And I love sort of history, and sometimes I'll find a title and go, I wonder if I wrote something about this, would it have any meaning? And then I'll research it. Then I'll go, oh, look what just came up. And then I'll read about that, and I might create a whole lyrical content just out of something that I read because I liked the idea of it.
Sure.
Jeff Wilson will always, so, you know, I'll walk in and he go, what's the story today? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, there's never a McAuley song unless there's a story. I'm just curious what today's story is, and that's how that goes. And you know, the difference is when you're solo, you know, you only have yourself to blame. So the music comes in, and the guys they rarely say, "I hate that word that you used there." Nobody got help, you know. But
Right.
with Jab, with Jeff and Reb, they're such good songwriters. Jeff might go, I think if you use a different format here or don't sing that note, I mean, Reb's funny because I get a ton of music and Reb will go, you do know that you're singing a major over a minor there. And I'm going, I didn't hear it. He goes, do you hear it now? Sing that note, it'll be better because it'll match the chord. And I'm going, oh, smart ass. And that works great because they are they're much more involved. While that said, yet again, I would say 99.9% if not 100% of the lyrics and the melodies on there, on the Black Swan, are mine. Same as it is on the solo stuff, except on the solo stuff, I get to work with it and nobody challenges me and tells me that, it's the worst thing they've ever heard.
You have to yell at yourself in this case.
So I have to argue with myself.
But I find that impressive, though, that number one, that you don't have a reference book to go back to, because I've always admired lyricists that you're trying to tell a story, but you have very few sentences that you can tell that story. And so
Yeah.
to have an idea in your head and maybe a little bit of a concept of a story you wish to tell, but then to make it fit, 3 or 4 or 5 minute song, and have that story come out. To me, when I was younger, I used to like to write poetry, and they were sometimes kind of like lyrics. I'd have kind of
Yeah,
a
very much
repeat
so. Very much so.
chorus.
Yeah, of course.
But it would take me to write one piece that I thought was halfway decent. It would take me, weeks and weeks and weeks to put something together that made sense for what I was thinking in my head. So to be able to do that from scratch every time you've got new
Yeah, well,
songs,
I don't, I don't always start on a song. I mean, when I'm in a writing mode, it's a full day's work. I'm at my laptop, and mic is set up, and I'll start playing the track, and I'm always in record
Mhm.
because I never know what's going to happen. I can whistle, I can hum it, and it's usually the melody, and then I'll keep layering, get tracks and tracks and tracks, and go, oh, that doesn't work, that works, and I'll keep deleting as I go. But I'll always have something as a reference, and I'll keep it and then elaborate more on it. But I don't always, Ralph, sit and finish the song right there and then. I might have to get up and go, my God, I have no idea. I've gotten up and I've written a ton of lyrics, and I'll come back in tomorrow morning and I'll take the whole thing and just dump it. And I'll
Right.
go, just tripe. And I'll have no idea, and then I'll start again. And so it could take me a day, it could take me 2 days, it could take me a week. But I'll move on to something else because I don't want to overwork it and just
Go
come back
back
with
with fresh
come
ears
back
later.
with fresh ears. So I typically do that a lot. And sometimes, and I've said this to my wife, when people are looking at some paraphernalia or stuff that they've kept over the years, then you see the auction floor. Oh, look, can you believe those are the lyrics that Elton John wrote at the beginning of this? And it was found somewhere, and now it's worth whatever. Well, you
Right.
won't find anything like that in my day. It's in the trash can. It's gone, baby. You know, yeah, mine is not going to be in any auction house. And I write so much, and I go through so many notes, and I just crumble them up, and it's all trash. Yeah, I'm not going to keep that as a reference. If it wasn't good on my desk, it's not going to work tomorrow, so it's in the trash can. And I often wonder if there was somebody up at in the recycle going, "Oh, that's odd. Look at these words." And I don't think so. I don't think so for a second. So if there is, got way too much time on and I don't sign anything anyway, so it could be from whoever. Maybe it is from Elton John. I don't know, but it's not from
Oh,
me.
that's
It's not from me. Yeah.
so
It,
funny.
it's God. It's a song, it's a piece of music at the end of the day. If it sounds good and has a good hook, and you can remember it, and it makes somebody happy for a split second of their day, and they go, dude, I'm so glad I listened to that. That's working for me.
Hmm.
That's working for me. Then it's like, job well done. Uh, you know, Listen to the next one, see if it does the same for you. So that's
Right.
just the best that I can hope for, really. You
I
know.
like that. I like that. Well, this grouping of folks that are on this record, I know we were talking a little bit before we started recording that you've got a live show coming up soon.
Yes.
Um, is this are some of these players part of that live?
No, I go to Sweden on I'll be leaving for Sweden next week. I do a show called Rockin' It Indoor Festival. Hardline will be on the bill.
That's right.
Dino Jalusic will be on the bill. Somebody said, "So you're going to headline?" And I went, "Isn't Dino on the same day?" And I said, "Yeah." And I went, "I'm not going on after him." What am I, stupid? That guy's like, that guy's insanely good. But
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward. I've talked to him many times, so I'm really looking forward to seeing him. Johnny Gioeli, of course, I know well with Hardline, and Alessandro is his keyboard player, so that'll be a family fest right there. And my band for this little outing will be the Gathering of Kings, GOT or GOG out of Sweden, and they came to me and went, "Please, can we be your band on this? We're huge fans. We've been playing their music for years, and we can't wait to have a collection of." Basically, what I'm doing is, as per the request from the promoters, is they go, every time we see an MSG show, you do little to none of the McAuley Schenker period.
Mhm.
And we want shows where we only hear the McAuley Schenker period songs tied in with your solo stuff and, you know, anything else that you want to put in there. Sometimes there's Grand Prix stuff in there. I did a show at Firefest in Manchester, UK in October, where after 40 years, I brought up the guys from Grand Prix on stage.
I saw some of the
And
videos of
we
that.
had never been on stage in 40 years, and I had never performed a Grand Prix song or them in 40 years. So it was emotional, really, you know.
I
And we
bet.
were up in the backstage area, we're laughing and joking as soon as we walk, because the guys are so awesome. And no time to rehearse, but they came up and did background vocals with me, and it
Wow.
was a blast. And I had a killer band for the festival. We rehearsed for 2 days. Never met the guys before, but I performed with them on record. So we had recorded together, in the universe, but we'd never actually been in the same room together playing. So they came together, rehearsed, and I had Jed Rylands, the keyboard player, guitar player from Taiketo. I had one of the best drummers on the planet, a young kid called Josh Devine. And people go, "Who's Josh Devine?" And I went, "If I tell you that Josh Devine played stadiums as the drummer for the boy band One Direction, you'll just start laughing. But when you're up on stage on this with this kid, oh my God, it's like being up there with John Bonham. The dude is off the charts. And I've worked with him so many times on recordings for escape music out of the UK that I went to bat and I went, "Can I have Josh Devine in the band?" And he goes, "Actually, Josh has just contacted us and wants to know if he can be in the band." So Josh is in. He's amazing. He's just thunderous. He's just incredible drummer. Keith Attack played with John Parr, played with David Cassidy, played with Bonnie Tyler. He's kind of my MD and just a blistering guitar player. And then Wayne Banks was on bass. He plays a lot of the classic rock bands in Europe, and he does a huge amount of performances with them. Thunderous bass player, just right there in the bottom end. So I had an amazing band. Went on, and we headlined Firefest. It was just killer. I mean, it was just awesome.
That's great. I'm so happy for you. Yeah, the footage I saw was really good. But the Grand Prix guys, you hadn't played together for a long time, but had it also been a long time since y'all saw each other? And
We hadn't seen each other in as many years, and of course, I had bumped into Phil Lanzon, the keyboard player, who's also the keyboard player of Uriah Heep. So the good thing with that was I'd done a bunch of festivals with MSG where Heap would be on the bill, and we coincidentally would cross paths at Heathrow Airport heading to the same festival, and then it's just a good old yak fest. Please take your seats. Can't be standing in the aisle talking. Yeah, I
uh,
know.
that's
So,
great.
like, just great guys, and musicians just like a big family. You're going to bump into somebody somewhere along the line, and then it's just, dude, and it's really cool. It's like I love that part of it.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. It's great that you still have those relationships.
Oh, it's it never dies. It's just and of course the festival we did Sweden Rock, Barcelona Rock, Hungary, and there was just everybody and their cat that I hadn't seen in years, and that was just you just talk too much after the show, not before the
I
show.
gotta shut up. I
Yeah,
gotta sing
don't come
tomorrow.
near me. I'm not talking to you before the show. Yeah,
Then speaking of Michael, you mentioned, the MSG shows. I think it was in 2023, I think, that you originally weren't going to be going out doing live shows with him, and then things changed and you were, and you ended up doing, I think, a lot of dates. And I think you did some dates with him last year as well.
yes, I did. Yeah.
Um, I know he's got some more dates planned for this year. Are you part of that again in 2025?
Um, I, I will play the Monsters of Rock cruise in March, and I think we leave Miami. I think we go down to the Bahamas for 5 days, turn around. I think we do two or three shows on the ship. Um, Michael will be out doing his tribute 50 years of UFO. He'll have Eric Grunwald singing with him. That was just with Skid Row. Just an absolute amazing, amazing set of pipes in that kid. Just
Oh, yes.
amazing. Um, there was talk of a US tour later in the year. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Um, Meanwhile, I'll be out doing solo stuff. Starting with Sweden, I've got some German shows, Spain shows, about a dozen in the UK, maybe actually get to Ireland for a couple.
Nice.
So that's all in the plan. And anything statewide, I guess the old stay posted thing has to be said because I
Right.
don't see anything. I don't see anything in concrete yet. But it's like it changes. It changes daily.
Right.
So hopefully that would be awesome. Yeah.
That would be awesome for us US based people, all right. Be able to see the incomparable Robin McAuley.
Well,
Uh, and then so we got Soulbound this year, and then we also were talking before we started recording too about Black Swan number 3.
Black Swan
Uh,
number 3, yes, it's in the bag. Not entirely. Would Matt Starr will come in a couple of weeks. I think about the 28th of January, 29th, and he will cut the drum tracks. All my parts are done. I think Rev has a couple of things just to come in and add to. Jeff's done, and super, super excited about it. I think it's a great record.
yeah,
So yes, number 3, and so that'll be 3 Black Swan, 3 solo. So that'll be 6 in total with the label for me.
in
So
about 5 years. That's
yeah,
pretty.
didn't see that coming.
So, do you think that the Black Swan record, do you guys still have plans of trying to get it out in this year in
I think that
2025?
is the plan. I haven't heard a drop date. I did hear March. It's probably a little ambitious,
Right.
since but not impossible.
It would be cool if it was March, because then that
Yeah,
would be
it would be
exactly the
really it would be
5 year
super.
anniversary of
Yeah,
debut.
yeah, it would be super cool. So not sure of the drop date yet, but definitely this year. Um, and I think, and I don't want to speak for them because I can't, but I think Winger will do the April uh, Frontiers Festival in Milan. So I'll get to see Reb. I think Matt will be there. So we'll be two-thirds Black Swan, and I know people are speculating, well, dude, all we need is a bass player. And who knows what they talk us into doing? Who knows? It'll be kind of cool. Um, Winger, I think, is also going to be winding down, and who knows, Red might need something to do.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
Foreigner's got to be a little bit quiet right now. I know they have.
actually, the rest of January, Jeff told me is just, which is why we need to get Black Swan into the can. Um, he's super crazy with mixing and putting some foreigner stuff together, and that's
Gotcha.
he'll tell you about that. That's super news. So they're going to get crazy, 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 doing more shows. They're winding down, but they're not completely wound down yet. So
Right, right. Well, I was just thinking if he were available when you're at Frontiers Fest, boy, what a treat that would be for the people there if all you guys
Well, I would love it.
the
I would love
world there in
Yeah, I'd love it. So we'll see what materializes. One of the cool things about the Frontiers is that we also have we do a lot of meet and greets, and then throughout that, there's also little mini acoustic sets that we will do, and um, we're trying to tighten that up and see what it is we're going to do, and play 3 or 4 songs acoustically before we actually do the shows and that sort of stuff. So it's going to be pretty exciting. If and I hate to use this because it's a bit pompous, but kind of exciting for the fans if they come and see an acoustic set and then to see, the show. Um, so I know I'll be a fan because there's a lot of bands that I want to see, and I'll be looking forward to me looking forward to that. Yeah, and that's a bonus for me. So, you don't get that many bands in the same place. It's a 3-day festival, so it's gonna
right.
be some great music, some great music. I just did Sweden Rock with Winger, and I stood watching them with my mouth open because they are really good live.
Yeah, I bet. And I got to tell you, and you could share this with Reb because I tried reaching out to see if they wanted to come on when this last record of theirs came.
Right?
I didn't get any success getting in touch with anybody, but I thought that record
Yeah.
maybe was better than any Winger record ever. I thought it was
Yeah.
so
It's
good.
funny what time does. It creates another sound from
Hmm.
what was to what is, and it's just they're great live.
Yeah,
Kip sounds awesome. The band are just on fire.
I
It's
believe it.
just they're just great musicians, you know. And when they're up there doing what they do as Winger, it's like, whew, and so many hits, man. It's like, damn, you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder how many little pieces of paper Kip's got lying around.
He strikes me as the type that would keep some
He
notes,
probably, well, he writes symphonies, so he's probably got a lot of everything on there.
right?
His would actually be charted and everything, all very sophisticated, you know. Yeah,
That's funny. Well, that's exciting. So we've got so much, I got to say thank you to you for sharing your pipes with us so much over these last few years because, like you said, 6 records total by probably by the end of this year in the last 5 years, which is fantastic. Because when you and Michael stopped working together initially in, I think it was like '92, maybe was
right.
the last record
Yeah,
that point, I was so sad because I didn't know when we'll get to hear your voice on a record again. At that point, that's what I was thinking in my head, and I'm like, man, this is a shame. I want to keep hearing Robin sing. And when you're a fan of the music and you see partings of ways and things, you know that the door could always open again, but you also know that it could stay permanently closed. So you get kind of sad, like, oh man, am I not going to get to hear anything new from this man
there
ever?
is there is a there is a new MSG record, and I do have 2 tracks on there. So I'm not sure when that's coming out, and I think Eric will be singing on there too, and Michael Boss, who produces uh, the MSG stuff. But there is a new MSG record coming out with a couple of tracks I'm on. So, but
Nice, nice.
yeah, never say never, Ralph. Right?
Right, right, exactly. No, I'm so thankful that you're still, pounding away and still creating music and your voice, as I've told you all the time, is just still so amazing to me how well you sing. And you're definitely that cliche of the bottle of wine getting better with age or whatever. Um, you're definitely that because your singing is just astounding every time I listen
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
um, I think when the last record came out live, I think on one of the Saturday shows, I played a track from it, and then I played a track from the first Grand Prix record that you were on, and so I did a Robin McAuley now and then, and
Wow.
when it's just incredible because you hear no no difference. You're still singing just amazing, you know. And not every singer is lucky enough that their pipes hold up like that over a long period of time. And especially in the hard rock vein, you know, you must really have your breathing down and just really know how to care for your throat because you would think there'd be something that isn't quite working right in here
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah. It's you have to stay on it. When I stay on it, it's my instrument. It's all that I have to work with. So it has to work. It has to be there when I want it. I stress myself out like crazy. My wife will attest to that. You know, I can think myself into having a cold. Oh, my voice is gone, and it's gone. It's like, oh my God, talk about a hypochondriac, you know. Um, and she goes, "Oh my God, I've been listening to this for 31 years, the same story, you know." And she puts up with it, thank God. Um,
Yes, thank
I,
God.
I take care of it. I take, do lots of steaming, lots of hydration, all of that boring stuff. You know, you can be a guitar player, a drummer, bass player, keyboard player. You can have a splitting headache, tummy ache, sore throat, cold. You can still go on and do the show.
Mhm.
Singers just are not that lucky. And then people go, singers, what do you expect?
Right.
So we
It's
get
got
we
to be
get
hard when you're traveling too to get good sleep too, I imagine. You know,
you don't get
that's
you
such a
don't get
big component.
you do not get quality sleep,
Hmm.
and the voice is always tired. You
Hmm.
know, and you know with the MSG stuff we work 5 nights on, and that's a heavy show. It's a 2 hour show. So
Wow.
you're at full tilt, and you're out there thinking, shoot, I've got 4 more of these to go. So you have to know how to pace yourself. You know what the voice does. I always compare it to like ping pong table. You know, there's a net in the middle, and then there's lines all the way around the table, and I know that I need to stay inside that boundary. And
Right.
if you go outside that boundary, you might fall off the edge into some deep water and never come back up. So it's important. It's important to it's boring. You can't stay up all night. Well, you can if you want, but it's not going to be good the next day.
Right.
So,
Right.
so yeah, I do what I can, and so far so good. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. And going back to Soulbound too, one other thing I wanted to ask you about. I think it was on the last record on Alive. You got to have your son play on a
Ah,
track.
yes.
Uh,
Well,
do we
so
have the
thank you for
younger
bringing.
McAuley on this one too?
There's no McAuley on this one because that McAuley now is a fresh out the gate daddy as of last a week on Saturday. Um, so my wife Gina and myself, we are first time grandparents. So we have a new grandson, uh, Robert Arthur McAuley. Um, and so he's a busy daddy.
Gotcha.
He's a busy
Gotcha.
daddy, and no, he didn't make it to this one. And he's going, I can do this, Dad. But he just wasn't. He wasn't available. So,
Well,
but he's there, and
congratulations on the grandbaby.
yes, thank you.
January 4th, I believe, was the birth.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. Good you at 1:57. So I actually told Dad yesterday. I said, you got to buy him a 57 Chevy. And he goes, huh, I need a 57 Chevy. I went, it's not about Dad anymore. It's nothing. You're done. You're done. You get nothing from here on out. It's not for you.
No,
Yep.
that's awesome though. It's fun. I told you I just had a new grandchild as well, just a
Congratulations. It's
week
awesome.
earlier. So,
Yep.
and speaking of January birthdays, everybody wish this man a happy birthday because his birthday, as we record this, is 1 week from today. By
Yay.
the time I get this out, it'll be like 3 or 4 days to his birthday,
Oh,
January
you.
20th.
Just don't bring up the date of the year.
Yeah, exactly. I like to forget those too. I don't think about them.
No, take the licking, but keeps on ticking.
Exactly. But I often think about all us guys that are of a certain age now, and I think we're not your grandparents' grandparents. I think somehow we're younger. It feels like than our grandparents were.
We ain't done. It ain't over till I say so.
That's right, and
Yeah.
that's probably a perfect segue bring up one last thing, and then we're going to get into playing some music from this record. Is what does keep you driven? What keeps you motivated to keep making these records after
Oh,
this lengthy career?
I have a very supportive wife. If I'm home for too long, she goes, "You need to get out of the house." She knows that I'm happiest when I'm up at the microphone, and so I have huge support from that. Um, and the drive really is, I just love the music. I just still love performing. Outside of my solo, outside of Black Swan, I am involved with a huge amount of other recordings for a UK label, Escape Music. And we do Circle of Friends records. There's a plethora of musicians on there. I'm also working on a very different sound of something new that we're trying to conjure up that'll be just take us out of the wear a different hat completely. But that said, there are people like Simon Phillips on there and people like
Love
Vinny Appice on there. So it's pretty awesome. So fingers crossed. When that comes to fruition, promise I'll let you know. I think you will love it because it's different.
Well,
It is
you did some
different.
cool stuff with was it Tommy DeAnder?
Yes, I do a lot of stuff with Tommy still. Actually, I'm on Tommy's new record. Um, we released a single off that called Reset, written by Mutt Lang. Cool track, and Tommy continues to make his radioactive records. So yeah, always in touch with Tommy. Always looking at, he goes, "Dude, you want to do this?" And he doesn't speak like that at all because he's Swedish. um, but yeah, it's like I like to keep my fingers in a lot of different pies, and it keeps the voice working, you
Mhm.
know. And it's all different, and it's all challenging, and allows me to do lots of different kind of styles, and that motivates me as well because, I'm if you know me, I just hate more of the same all the time. Got to
Mhm.
be because music. There's so much music. Why wouldn't you want to play it all?
Sure.
You know, so much music. So that's what I try to do, and that excites me. So as long as that's there, I'll be there. Hopefully.
Good. Good. Well, we're all happy, Robin, that you
Thank
continue
you,
to make
Ralph. Thank
music.
you. Thank you, Radio Bypass. You guys are awesome.
So again, new record, Soulbound, coming out February 28th. And as we record this today, the two singles that have been released, if you listen to the Saturday music show that we do, you've heard these tracks already, but you're going to hear them again right now as we wrap things up with Robin because they're so freaking good. And Robin, I got to say, I'm glad these were the first two released because they really have a different flavor each of the two songs. And to me, it's just another great showcase for just what an amazing singer you are. And um, I like to call Robin the incomparable Robin McAuley because truly you are. Just you've been a pleasure to my ears since I first heard you back in the 1980s, and I'm so glad to continue to hear new music coming out of your voice, out of your throat. Just great stuff. And of course, I think you and Michael with the song "Anytime" wrote a classic song that for sure will stand the test of time for generations to come. What a beautiful song that is. But you've got a whole lot more great stuff since then. So that's all I got to say. Robin McCauley's awesome. Happy
Very
birthday.
much. Thank you, guys. God
And
bless you all.
get Soulbound. You can follow Robin, has social media pages. Check out Robin McCauley. I'm sure he'll keep posting stuff about Soulbound and leading up to the release.
Yes,
Uh,
and go on to Frontiers Music SRL, and you'll get all the links and everything if you if you desire to
I
own a
didn't
copy.
notice because I didn't get a chance to do this today. I think the pre-orders are available already at that
Yes,
website as
yes,
well.
at that website, yeah. Frontiers Music SRL, and that will
Pre-order
give
the
you all the
record.
information. Yep.
Yeah. And European folks, you can go see Robin live at some different dates throughout 2025. And he and I are going to keep our fingers crossed that somebody puts together a date for the United States.
Yeah, put the
And,
word out.
and we'll look forward to a new Black Swan potentially this year as well. And
Yes.
we'll have more about that later. And also, the first two songs, Till I Die and Soulbound, videos are out there on Robin's YouTube channel as well, or on Frontier's YouTube channel
Yes.
for both of those. I did post links to each of those.
Thank you so much.
Soulbound today was on our Radio Bypass page. So if you can't find it, go there and click on it and check out Soulbound. But you're going to hear it now anyway. So Robin, as always, thank you so much for always being so supportive
Thank
of,
you, my friend.
of,
Thank you.
of
Thank you.
Radio Bypass, and always a pleasure having you come on.
Thank you so much. Next time. Bye-bye.
Success, buddy. And
Bye-bye.
everybody, stick around right now. This is brand new Robin McAuley, Till I Die.
Wise man said reason